Form ni aje, umejiuliza we, hakuna haja kunyamaza kimya na wajiumiza mwenyewe, usinyamaze ongea.
Thank you and welcome so much to yet another episode of Untold Realities. This time we are continuing the conversation on when love hurts. Yeah? We have the same amazing people that we had last time. And for those of us who are joining us for the first time, this is a two-part series. This is part 2 of a series that we've called When Love Hurts. So if you haven't watched part 2, part 1, stop, chill to Apple, go and watch part 1, and then come, and then we'll continue the conversation that we've just had. As we continue joining in, we're going to have introductions. Just remind us who you are, tell us what you do, and something interesting about you. Well, let's change this up a little bit. Tuambie something interesting about you, about what has happened to you this week. Let's to break down. Yeah. Ladies
Hi.
first, obviously. Yeah.
I am Makena Muriungi. I am a psychologist by profession. The most interesting thing that has happened to me this week is I was on a mat from Upper Hill going towards town, and I saw the biggest roach. Really, like, it just amazed me that, we carry our insects from home and bring them on the journeys with us.
Beware, you who are in public transport. You might find roaches. Anyway, thank you so much for that. They know. Funny like it.
How many introduce, eh?
Hiyo ni juju.
Okay, hi everyone, welcome again. My name is Mwanzea Dennis, Gender Associate GVRC. I'm just liking the way you're getting a response from you people. Again, I'm a fan of football. Manchester United is performing well. I'm happy.
Hopefully.
Hey, kuna watu
is.
wametingiza kichwa wakasema ni ukweli. That is true. But again, as my blood runs blue, nitatulia tu hapo. I'll just chill kwa your story. But again, welcome to yet another conversation. For those of us who are joining, karibuni sana. Be expectant to just continue on with the conversation that we had last time on IPV, intimate partner violence. They know. So Manu, tukumbushe a little bit of what we learned last time so that we can continue. Tuendelee kutoka hapo.
Okay, nice. Basically, last time we tried to understand what is IPV. We said IPV is any kind of behavior that causes maybe any form of harm that is psychological, emotional, and which is perpetrated by your partner or maybe a person you love with. And we discussed some red flags on how you can know that you're experiencing, and we said that it's not a must it is you see it from the big things, no? It can start from small or little things that zina happen kwa hiyo relationship yako. Then tulipata advice from Makena and how we're supposed to do about that, and the most important thing was communication, and we talk and see how we can solve out things, and that GVRC is also there for those of us who need help. That is help. You can come to GVRC. You are given the toll-free line. We got some good feedback. People are getting down to that line and asking for help. That is nice, guys. So please, as we continue again, please avail yourself. Speak out. Wanaume tuongee, and we live by our own means. And that is basically what we said. And we're happy.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Dindo. Amesema kitu ya muhimu sana, wanaume tuongee. Let's keep this conversation going. And again, for those of us joining us for the first time, GVRC is Gender Violence Recovery Center, and they are proudly sponsoring this particular conversation with the help of Accelerate. That is a project funded by Danida that aims to contribute to the promises that have been set by the ICPD 25. That is zero unmet contraception, zero preventable maternal death, and zero gender-based violence and harmful traditional practices. So even as we continue the conversation, we are really grateful for Danida for that. So, McKenna, last time we talked about a lot on how these are things that do not just come all of a sudden. I'd want us to focus kidogo before we get into nyama ya hiki to the meat of this. Let's look at a form of gender-based violence or a form of IPV that hasn't been haikwangi mentioned a lot. Let me term it as economic violence. So a guy, husband, or even a dude like us decides that I will need to limit whatever expense you're going to get, or I will limit whatever economic endeavors that you're going to have as long as we're in this relationship. Do you think hiyo ni kitu inafanyikanga or it's just nimefikiria vitu zangu?
We are working on the assumption that one partner earns more or has more than the other.
Yeah.
So yes, I think it happens. I think that there are those who use that as a form of control, as a form of keep. We hear a lot of people come into therapy. Mostly this happens with women, and they tell you that I cannot leave an abusive relationship because where will I get provision? What about my children? Like, he provides for everything and I don't have a means. But it's only up to a point. If you look at it, in most cases, it's provides to a point that you still feel that you lack, but for most part, he's here. Creates sort of a poverty mindset in you, such that you feel that you need them. It's part of abuse. It's someone manipulating you into thinking that you need them so much that you can't live.
So it's the idea of creating dependence. That a lady ama mwanaume hawezi toka kwa hiyo relationship because they feel that they are tied to that particular person. Sindio? Nani, it's interesting that these are things that are happening. And today, even as we get into the conversation that we are about to begin, we mentioned last time on the idea of cycles of the cycle of violence. Nikitu that is known and can really be beneficial once you identify what aspects of that cycle are. So, Deno, tuambie just a small breakdown of what the cycle of violence is, and then now we'll get into deeper ways of identifying it, of how to be conscious about it, how to be self-aware while you're inside that relationship, and then we'll continue that. Tuambie tu.
Nice. Before I just give you the breakdown of the cycle, there's something we call snowballing. Snowballing is maybe how a problem rolls down, collecting more, I would say, problems or issues or just something like that as it comes down. It's a theory that is used to explain maybe social issues in the society, and it's not rolls down from the mountain top downwards. It starts from maybe just a small snowstone, but as it goes down, it has collected so much. So that's how these things happen. Maybe now it starts from maybe just you good with this person, then there's some tension building. Now things start to hook. Then from there things now blow up. No, what you call the incidents itself. Then after that, now you realize this has happened. Then now you start now making up things, or maybe what we would call honeymoon. Then that one will repeat again maybe after some time. Maybe I remember the last time we said there is now the idea of giving gifts, now being taken out on outs now to forget what has happened. And now you come, you make this thing, anakuaga hivyo is like that. So it happens again now. Now with the idea of snowballing, now having more issues. I know you've kept some issues within you, would not talk out these, you would not sort out issues. So now it becomes bigger and bigger and bigger. So that's basically the process or the cycle of violence.
Yeah. Thank you so much for reminding us on that, and also the idea of sweeping things under the rug. I think that is also an important aspect of this particular cycle of violence. He's mentioned three things, and I need to lazima to focus on those three things. There's tension building, there's the incident stage, that is basically what we can call the explosion, when everything has yenye ilikuwa na boil down inalipuka, and then there's the honeymoon phase. Honeymoon tunajua. We all understand the connotation that comes with honeymoon. Honeymoon is a good place. Honeymoon inakaa tu place mnafurahia, where everything is just mzuri mzuri, tamu tamu.
The heaven now.
Heaven, sasa, the calm stage. Some people believe that that is the calm before the storm. So we are going to just try and see how each and these stages present themselves. Ndio kama you're watching and you are in a relationship, how can you be able to identify which stage am I in? Which particular phase am I in? If I have experienced a form of intimate partner violence, in which particular stage of this cycle am I in, and how am I able to come out of it? What are the ways or the interventions of how to break from this cycle? So tutaanza na the tension stage, tension building stage. Makena, tuambie, how does the tension building stage present itself in a normal relationship?
Usually there is a trigger at first. It's things or certain things your partner is not comfortable or does not like happening, or something that would affect your partner or both of you in a negative way happening. So a trigger occurs that's not dealt with. It isn't dealt with when it happens, or isn't dealt with in the right way, because there's dealing with it and then dealing with it vibaya.
The right way, that's true.
So it's not dealt with in the right way. Either it's again not like inanyamaziwa, or the reaction forms again something bigger. For instance, the issue is finance. So no, if the issue is finance and I ask or we bring it up and one partner feels defensive or feels attacked or feels like, wait, I can't provide and it's not my fault, but I can't let her know I can't provide. So what happens? Let me, puff up. Divert attention from what the issue actually is to, to your conversation inakuwa something different. This other one feels unanswered. They feel that they have not, like, hawajajibiwa, but now they feel attacked. So that becomes another issue. And those things pile up. I think it's basically a trigger that's not dealt with in the correct way that creates tension.
Wow. And thank you for that. I feel that umefocus sana on, and which is a good thing, that it's personal issues, things that, insecurities that people in the relationship have, things that probably nanajua in the dating stage we always have this, what do you like, what don't you like. So there is an understanding of the things that the person does not like, and I know that mnaendeleanga kujuana as you progress, but that idea of the things that this person does not like or the insecurity that this person has, and a situation has presented itself where that particular insecurity is triggered or is brought out in a clear way. Na hii ni kitu, and this is something that happens in every relationship. Now, most of the time, we feel that ladies are the only ones who have insecurities. I think there's this notion that men do not have insecurity, or men do not expressly show their insecurities. But is that right? Do men have insecurities? Kuna vitu zenye mwanaume akiambiwa yeye anakuanga hivi ama yeye aufanyangi hivi, that inamfanyanga asifeel okay. Do you feel that kuna vitu kama hizo?
Yeah, as a man and having been in some relationships, yes, I said that. Yeah.
No one was doubting.
What?
Yeah, true. Yeah, men also have insecurities. There are things. for example, your girlfriend tells you, I have a best friend who I would I usually go to when I have an issue, and this friend is a gent like you. James, you will never be okay with that kind of a thing.
Yeah.
As a man,
Uh-huh.
you'll have to be there asking yourself, mbona si mimi? No. And that is something which our ladies say most of the times. Atakasikia akikwambia mi my best friend apart from my boyfriend, yule mtu naweza niko na rafiki yangu kijana mwenye I can tell so much of things, ananisaidia sana kusolve maybe nikiwa na shida namwambia, ama mwingine anakuambia hata nikitaka do anaweza nitumia. Maybe my boyfriend does not have something like that. So there are so many insecurities with men also in relationships. Na nikija sasa nianze kuuliza and who, mbona si mimi, now that one can trigger now the issue now maybe ni rafiki tu, there's nothing else, there's naona sasa, then from there now the issue can also now start growing big. Something else I just wanted to note is that when you've chosen to be in a relationship with someone, it happens most instances there's a reason behind why I want to be with McKenna and not Faith. So now it comes to a time whereby now the reason why, nimetumia example tu kijana.
No, it's the
What?
fact that my older sister's name is Faith,
actually Faith,
so
yeah.
you know.
Oh, okay.
Pure coincidence, by the way. It's coincidental.
You never know.
It wasn't planned. But yeah, in the
So, so it happens that if there's a particular reason why I want to be with her, it can reach a time when now my reason is fulfilled. I fulfilled my intentions why I wanted to be with her. No, and so from then I will not have another other reason to be with her again. Now, so
If you are talking to me, talk to me direct.
Stop beating. But anyway.
yeah, it's just an illustration. So now at that point, mtu ana lose interest kwa the other person. Maybe some wengine they just want to use them, or I was after something she has, or I was after an opportunity nilikuwa nataka kutoka kwake, and after that now I start losing interest. Now I start now bringing up manipulated issues about her, kind of funny talks, now abusive language. Now at least that can drive away from me now, because everything I wanted from her I achieve. And that is something else which is affecting so many relationships today. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah,
Hata nasema na ndo pia kuna hii stories za wababa, by the way, because now nikishapata kabiashara hivi kakishika hivi natoroka, ama nikimaliza shule hivi namwepa, no? So there's much in the tension building which happens in relationships, but others pia ni najua relationships ni watu wakubwa wanaele, adults people wanafikiria tu, so wengine are just playing around with everything and
So na hii story ya wababa hii kitu it's close to your heart. Utatuambia mbona you unapenda sana kumention
vijana tumefinywa sana.
hii story anyway, story for another day. If you haven't watched the episode that we have on Mubaba, please go kindly check it out. It's really awesome. So umemention kitu na naweza taka to like focus on that kidogo, the idea that it is intentional. That's for some people they actually plan on doing this, on exploiting insecurities that you have, because their intention, purpose yao kwa relationship ishaisha. And in doing that, in poking on insecurities, they build up. You build up this tension inside this relationship in a way that will get to, again, the next stage. So, Makena tuambie, ukisikia hiyo story ya people being intentional about manipulating, wameingia kwa relationship, wanajua vizuri sana that the intention was 1, 2 and 3. 2, 3, 4 months into it, they've already gotten 1, 2 and 3. They want to get out of it. Some people decide that they'll poke on insecurities ndio the other partner breaks up with them fast. Do you think that this inaweza contribute to getting from the tension building to the actual explosion? That is the next
the
thing.
intention.
That's the intention. Okay,
Yes,
tell
if
us
you're
more, yeah.
doing it purposely for a fight, I think that's the intention, that it explodes, mi niende zangu, wewe uende zako.
So the idea is in the explosion. They really want to get into the explosion ndio itoke. What about hao watu wenye they honestly just don't know how to communicate? The idea that najua insecurity yako, I poke at it in subtle ways, na unaweza to mention here, the small subtle ways that people poke at our insecurities or insecurities of the other person, enye mtu like ni ile tu nasema hata akuwa najua kenye inamaanisha, or even mtu kwa relationship the partner does not know that this is an insecurity. Do you think that happens? That a partner may not know that the other person has this as an insecurity. So nikisema by the way hiyo kiatu ulienda tu ukaamua tu yani uchukue hiyo kiatu, and probably for the other partner the way they look is an insecurity to them, but the other person doesn't know. Talk to us a little bit about that.
I think that will happen if people, okay, personally, I think that this generation, we have idolized relationships so much that it's not, you remember when we said the why in getting into relationships? You're not in a relationship because you love this person exclusively or you want to be with this person exclusively. You just don't want to be alone. Therefore, whatever goes, whoever comes your way, if it's a guy, you may have been rejected so many times. If this girl, I hit on her and ameingia box, in as much as ulikuwa tu una try, umejipata kwa relationship sasa, and you're like, okay, cool, I wanted to be with someone and this person wants me, so let me stay. You understand? So most times you won't put effort into getting to know them. I'm hearing a lot of complaints on Wababa. And I know for the Wababa thing, it's financial aspect for you guys. And there's also another problem. The fact that, I don't know if you've ever thought about this, but older men have been in relationships enough to know how to rope the girl in. They have been playing that game for so long, they know what she wants or what she needs. You guys haven't. Or rather, you're looking out at what will the relationship satisfy for me. You know, I want to be in the relationship because I want a girlfriend who looks like this, does this. The Mubaba is there providing financially. He's there calling and just, have you eaten? It's a simple question that you guys like being asked, but you never ask back because you're afraid of being asked for lunch. You get? You know that you're not financially able, so you avoid certain topics because you don't want the resulting conversation. And yes, you will complain about the Mubaba, but you all need to take the responsibility pia. Yeah, ukidecide utaki demu yako aende na Mubaba, kwa ready.
You're addressing me.
Yes.
Stop beating around the bush.
Maybe.
Talk to me directly.
Yes. No, I'm saying
but
like
I
for
understand,
every
yeah.
man, you understand
Yeah,
that
I get it.
we may get into relationships with a view on what am I aiming to satisfy, and you don't get to know the other person well enough to know what their insecurities are. Wewe kwako hiyo kiatu inakaa vibaya, but that girl probably doesn't even have, like, unajua uko na standards. You have what you like. You're also on social media. You're checking them out, and you're like, hey, this will look good on my girl, but you forget the same. I'm very sure you're not dating girls who are older than you. So if you don't have the finances, she also probably doesn't. You get? Same levels, unless, in different cases. But most likely we date from the same social class. Mimi kama naishi Kenya, it's very hard for me to date someone in Germany because where have I met them? So you'll probably date someone around your social class. But you have expectations. Unakulanga kwa madhe lakini akili yako iko fogo gaucho. That's what you want, So it depends. Like, yes, there are people who do that. They don't know their person's insecurities, but that's because you've not taken the time to get to know that person because you went into that relationship looking out for your own loneliness.
So wow, that's hard. That's deep. Maneno ya baba umesikia. And what about you as our audience? What do you think? What do you think this conversation is around? What is your opinion on insecurities? Do you have a girlfriend? Do you have a boyfriend? Do you talk about insecurities freely? Do you know what they consider as a trigger for them? Do you have these conversations? Are you open? Are you candid? I know there's a lot around this, but I think the heart of it need conversations. Let's be honest. Let's be open. Let's be transparent about what we are in. So let's look at an example. So now we've talked about how you're able to identify the tension building stage. It's all about knowing you as an individual, what your insecurities are, that is self-awareness. And number two, being able to extend that to your partner. Being able to know udemana hapendi niki touch on one or two issues. My boyfriend knows that he's very insecure about his finances. So you are able to sort that out. So for example, if that stage imeisha and then we get to the next stage, a guy has jamaa amediscover that demu yake ako na best friend mwenye anamwambianga kila kitu na huyo best friend anamprovidianga do, and the guy has confronted the chick, amemwambia I don't like this and this and this and this. The chick has decided hapana, you should trust me nini 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 nini. The next course, the next stage, if this is not dealt with, inakuanga the explosion stage. Now where the actual incidents of or the actual physical violence happens at that stage. Deno unaona ikikaje, ukiangalia hiyo example, how do you see it going into that explosion stage? Ita transition aje kutoka kuongea into now explode. Now this is explosive. I don't know how best to put it apart from that.
Yeah. No. I don't know. I think inakuja about honesty and understanding. Because I'll need to understand why does she tell him everything and not me? Because maybe unajua there's something we call personality structures. No? And maybe alipata she wants to be with me and maybe she loves me venye alisema, but that other person akona a trait yenye anapenda. Ni mtu mwope, ni mtu anaweza muadvise poa, ni mtu maybe atakuwa na mimi but maybe anaona nimekwama kidogo, huyo jamaa anaweza muokorea or something like that. So now it's about how honest is she and how is the level of my understanding. How do I have to understand? Then what are the limits na hiyo ubeshte, hiyo BFF? Wakona limit zimefika wapi? Because if they go to the extreme, they would go for trips, what. Unajua sasa mimi nitaanza kufikiria so many other things maybe. Naona. But ikikuwa ni ile just the general one and it's a respectful ubeshte like relationship wako nayo, no? According to my understanding, I would. But now, most of us now as men sahi, hawezi niambia kuna best kama huyo anakufanyia 1 2 3 nielewe. Nitakwambia wewe enda kaa naye. No, that is something which will happen. Yeah.
So what sorry to cut you short. Nilikuwa nataka ni sasa tumefika hapo. Umesha discover huyu they have been extra kuliko venye wewe you're comfortable with. Umeconfront demu yako. Demu yako amesema hapana, you should trust me, you know ni wewe napenda, but you know why you not trusting me, I am able to najua limits. So imefika up to that point. Nataka unidescribe or just think of it, how will it transition from that point to the explosion stage? Sasa pali things have gotten worse. Just describe that for me. How will that look?
We are talking, tunaongea, unaniambia like nakwambia this is not right, unaniambia iko sawa. If then naanza kubuild ile nini sasa pressure yenga maybe naweza hata ku release from you. Mimi naanza kwambia we maybe tuko na kana wewe toka enda ukae na yeye, something like that. Now nakufukuza, I don't want to talk to you, go and be with him, no, things like that. Pia naweza taka nilijua hiki tu kitambo, no, I saw it coming and things like that. Now you just nataka kurelease yule mtu kwa life yako, because now the conversation mlikuwa nayo haiku work out. As she said, alisema you need to know how to solve out the issue, muongelele hii issue na in a way that amicable way that you can mnaweza elewana. So if you don't understand each other, and nimesema if there's no honest and understanding, definitely now the relationship will be broken and imeisha. If you talk and you understand each other well now, you can now to mnaweza amend the issue and mnasema okay, these are the limits between me and him, and me and you, najua we are this, me and him we are that and that, so we can continue with our relationship.
Yeah, and thank you so much, Deno, for that. And I've picked that in the explosion stage, there's a lot of negative emotions involved, a lot of anger, and all that is in excess. Now, every person has a way of expressing that. Kila mtu ako na njia ya kuexpress their anger, expressing that disappointment, expressing their sadness, expressing their heart. For ladies, how do you think that how is it portrayed in the explosion stage? How is all this negative emotion expressed in the explosion stage? Ndio mwanaume akiwa hapo, I realize that I can notice this in my lady. I can notice that by the time amefika mahali, this and this and these traits are, ama this and this and this behaviors are being exhibited. So, kwa madem, how is it expressed? Yes, obviously, as the only lady. This
Nafaa
panel.
kuwauliza nyinyi madimu wenye wana expressing aje.
Wacha tuanze na kwanza utuambie wewe wenye unajua, and then tuambie wetu.
Atuambie maboy wanafanya, alafu sisi tutakujibu sasa how
To reverse vile mimi nimeona kwa
Inter-
maboy, nyinyi mniambie vile mmeiona kwa madimu.
Okay, sawa. Deno uko rada hiyo.
tutangana naye.
Sawa basi. Yeah.
So how I've seen it with guys, it's again puffish. A lot of them get aggressive, like as Dino has said. There is the we talk away, wende. In an instance where you have touched on a man's insecurity, for us, you will mostly see it in intimidation. Unajua mimi ndio nakuprovideanga. Kama si mimi. You know, it may be sometimes silent treatment. You pia mnapenda kupeana silent treatment. Like someone may just come in and they're angry. What's wrong? What's wrong? No one's talking. No one's saying anything. You know, and that stays for so long until one day, alafu inatokeanga at such awkward moments. Ulishachana na mtu. Umekataa kuniambia, sawa. I will imagine that you have problems with your boys. You have problems with, money that you don't want to tell me about. You just have problems on your own. Na umeamua hauniambi. And I've nagged you so much. Na umekataa kuniambia. And then, this one day when I think it's over, you know how girls do? I think it's funny when. You guys also have that. I think it's funny that men also have a version of that. It's usually ikiwa calm, unagongwa na unajua ile story ya Deno by this just how. Again, wholly depends on who your partner is, but it may show in aggression, silent treatment, wanze kukumbushwa vile ulieka chumvi nyingi kwa chakula, like very many weird petty things.
Yeah.
Because no one wants to talk about the real issue.
So tumesikia wanaume tuna so is there an extent beyond that? Because najua most of the people believe that wanaume wanakuanga more physically expressive na their anger, but we mentioned that definitely there's before that. There's
Yes.
usually before that.
Before we get to the whole physical, there's what led to it. Again, because we know what the physical looks like. We know we've dealt with the physical. We've seen the physical on media. what leads to the physical is what most people don't talk about. It'll be a small issue. Okay, ilianza. Yes, kuna issue, we haven't talked about it. And timing is everything. You know, I bring it up at the wrong time, or you bring it up at the wrong time, and it blows up, but it never really blows up. Si ati naamka siku moja na decide nikuchome na maji. You know, it'll be things that are undealt with, or it'll start as an argument on something small, or it'll start with not talking about something small. Siku moja mtu anakuwekea ring kwa meza after 36 years. Anakuambia, sister, mimi, nimecho, I'm done. And that's also something else with men that I've noticed. It's mwanaume akikuacha amekuacha arudi. Like, ikifika point, it's the guy who sat you down and they're like, okay, it's over. Very little you can do to convince that man to stay.
Oh, okay. And I think the one of the things that I've gotten from that is that we should not focus sana on the physical ile yenye imekuwa expressed sana. We should not focus on waiting until it get physical ndio ukue by the way there's an issue. We should be keen enough to notice is these small things that lead up to it. They know ametufunza kuhusu snowballing. We should be able to catch it before it becomes bigger than it already is. Asante sana. So they know just take it tukimaliza just as we transition now into ile phase yenye watu wanakuanga caught up sana, the honeymoon phase. As we get into that, tuambie, what do you think kwa madem hii expression ya explosion, this explosion stage inajitokeanga kiaje?
Okay, there are types of emotional expression kulingana na character ya dem. One, they are the drama ones. Watakuonyesha drama, utashangaa. So they are the drama ones when they'll do so much. Hata anaweza beba hata socks alikubaia manze. Anaweza enda nayo. Yeah, they bring a lot of drama there. No. Then kuna wale ile silent treatment, they are the worst in that. Akinyamaza tu amenyamaza. Hata umfanyie nini? Umletee hata ice cream hataki.
It's okay. Unaambiwa it's nothing.
Zile tu hapo unataka kwenda enda. No, so kuna hao sasa they'll just keep quiet, anamezea hiyo hasira, and now it gets worse now because anaweza kataa kutoka akae tu hapo, alafu unajua sasa ni hasira na ni imekaa na wewe hapo, so uko like unakasirika hata zaidi and you cannot do anything. Then kuna wale ataongea sasa, like now they start talk, unamwambia hivi anakuambia, and that one is the one which mostly leads to hiyo now. Unajua mwanaume ukimfeed a lot now anaweza amua ku get physical maybe in a way. Yeah, so hiyo kujibizana, utadu nini, utafanya nini, no, hata kuna fulani na fulani, such kind of a thing. But I think it all depends on, do you want to continue with this relationship? Because if it is intentional, as we said earlier, at the end of the day, this person will just walk out. Because that is what they wanted to. Because they have fulfilled their purpose why they wanted to be in that relationship. But if they still want to be with you, or there's that willingness, you can still sit. Because there are some issues which are just situational, which just happen and we can solve them out. You can be caught up maybe by the curfew. Tunajua sasa kuna curfew, umechelewa. So badala ufungwe jela ulale ndani, unaweza ama kuspend place. So kuja umueleze something like that, if haikuwa a big issue, you just sit and solve or something like that. So at the end of the day, it's about how do you solve all the conflict you have. Because now, if you solve it well, now it will not blow out to maybe kuachana, your relation imeisha, kuenda kuanikana kwa status, this social media nakwambia. Yeah. Again, ladies talk. Yeah, they can go share out with their friends. Kama ni marafiki wazuri wanamtakia kuwa kwa relationship, watamwambia ka. Nao kuna kamiti zingine mbaya sana zinakuanga na madem. So at the end of the day ataenda tu, ataambiwa wewe achana hii,
hata tulimwona na Jackie na fulani, so many other issues that go arose. Yeah, but if they are making a decision from themselves, there's the willingness to continue that relationship, I think you talk, you solve, then you can transit to the other circle of
To the next
to the
stage.
next stage now. Yeah.
Which thank you. You've said quite a lot. Na nimeona Mkena ki react mali, but
Nilikuwa
but
nakunywa
anyway.
maji.
And sawa, haina
Shwari.
shida, it's okay. He's all right. The next stage, which most people believe is the solution stage, but is usually part of the cycle. People think that when you get to this particular stage we are about to discuss, that everything is, so now we are all okay. Everything is set. Everything is kila kitu iko sawa. But Makena, just try and tell us, why is this stage considered as part of the cycle? Why is what we're going to call as the honeymoon phase considered as part of the cycle? And as you tell us that, you can hint, unaweza tuelezea ni nini inafanya people to continue the cycle because of this stage, because of this particular stage, honeymoon.
Have you ever used drugs?
I plead the fifth.
I'm going to say that love is a drug. Most people, the chemistry behind love and addiction, same. Hormones, same. You know. So you're asking why people continue on. It's because of this shells we are in trick us a lot. Sometimes we tuna the someone who usually says to me a lot, ukiwasha hii usizime. Yes, because that's what a lot of us do in relationships. We open our hearts and we refuse to see logic. We refuse to see the things that are in front of us. Patterns don't lie. Numbers don't lie. You know, but because you want, because the desire of your heart is to be with this person, because you have convinced yourself that this is a pattern, this is a person for you, the only one. Simnasemanga, the one. Nothing like that. You can make it work with anyone in this world as long as the two of you are sane and you're thinking. Love is a decision, it's not a feeling. The feelings fade. Ask people who've been married for long. At the end of the day, my body will change. So if you are with me because you think I'm attractive, bruh, wait till I give birth. And then tell me if you're still attracted to me the way I was, if it was the body you were after. You know? If it's the fact that you liked my personality because I'm jovial, ngoja life initandike vizuri, nibebe stress, alafu come tell me whether you like me the same. Most times we think about the now, the person, you're in love with the person right now, except you forget that in a relationship, this person is going to change. They're either going to grow or they're going to collect so much hurt from the world that in 10 years' time they will be bitter. We need to account for that. Most of us don't. Most of us tunazima hii, tukishawasha hii, and we just look at the bright side of things. We look at best case scenario in relationships. We never really want to think, what if it doesn't work out? Will I be okay? What if they are not perfect? We go in with a notion of perfection, that this person is the one for me. You look at all their good traits, and when their bad ones start to hit you, unasema alichange. Hakuchange, amekwanga tu hivyo. You know. So why do people get caught up in this? It's chemical reactions, number one, because you're getting a high of it. You have been at a low point and someone is giving you a lot of pleasure inducing, things. A lot of it is pleasure. So you will be there and you're thinking, oh my God, I am so happy right now. So when the bad thing happens again, guess what? You will also be waiting on the happy moment. You'll be like, yeah, it's bad right now, but we have the good times.
Yeesh. Yeesh. I'm aware how to umesikia yeesh. But the truth, Nivio, the honeymoon phase is quote unquote the best part about a relationship. Hapa ndio ile one of you decides, let me take the high road. Let me decide to be the one who will come with the gifts. Let me decide to be the one who will humble myself and try and ease the situation. Most of the time, it's not about getting the solution. It's really about let's try and make this up. Let's try and pretend as if this is something that is not happening. Let's try and do that. And that is why it becomes a cycle. That is why it turns into when the ball has rolled to such a size and it keeps being ignored, it will continue rolling. It doesn't mean that when it gets to a point where it stops, the size it diminished. The elephant will still remain as the elephant in the room, as long as it's not dealt with. So I feel that it is important for you to realize, as long as the problem hasn't been solved, as long as it hasn't been identified, it hasn't been labeled, and it hasn't been solved directly, or the issue hasn't been solved, it will still keep on rolling. That's why we call it a cycle. If you have the honeymoon, and then the tension will build again because the insecurity wasn't dealt with, and then it will explode, and then one of you will decide. And again, if you look at, if you're there for part one, I mentioned how the radius keeps on increasing. So as you continue doing that, as you continue not dealing with it, itaendelea kuwa kubwa. Itaendelea tukiwa kubwa. I felt that I needed to share that. Wacha nirudi sasa kuwa host. Haya. So as we end with this conversation, again, this is just, we are ending it here at this platform, but we hope that this continues beyond now, that this continues beyond just eSpace. So for us who are viewing, for us who are watching us, tuendelee to have this conversation. Let's be honest. Let's be transparent about what we feel, about our insecurities. And to be honest, it will transform a lot, not just at hii stage yenye tuko kama maboys na nini, hata ukiingia kwa relationship, ita change the way you will fight, ita change the way you converse about insecurities, ndio? Deno, sasa nataka uongelesha maboy. Uambie, what do you think wanafaa kufanya waki-realize that they have relationship, that wako in a relationship that iko na hiyo cycle? Na what do you think wanafaa kufanya make sure that hiyo cycle imebreak? Ongelesha maboy.
Yeah, hapa nje kuna mates 3 zenye mimi naona zinafanya hii cycle iendelee kukua. Ya kwanza, ati you have to kiss so many frogs before you get what. Hiyo iko, you know. Number 2, sisi vijana tunasema lazima kwanza uzime mioto kabla saa uingie pale. Sasa uko umetulia. Tumeambiwa it's a drug, so ukishakuwa addicted, hautatulia ukiwa pale. Still itakuwa normal. And maybe the last thing is wanasema na relationship cannot all of us tukue sane. Lazima mmoja akue na kauenda wazimu kidogo ndio mambo ikuwe vizuri. Yeah. So those are things zenye zinafanya tuendeleze na hizi vitu, but I think they are wrong concepts za kukua in a relationship with. So tuache kuignore small things, let's take and solve issues zikiarise vizuri tu before they escalate to the worst, because if zishakuwa mbaya zaidi hatutakuwa na uwezo wa kusolve. Yeah. And if you feel enyewe design ya Bill na Belinda ama Alfred na Lillian, just solve it, muamue tu, acha iende na iende roho safi before ikuje kufika ile mahali mbaya. So that's what I can tell boys. Then kikataa imekataa. Kikataa imekataa. Wacha kuforce.
So acha nijaribu kufreeze hiyo whatever you've just said. So uamende ikiwa ndogo, usianze ndio usikimbizane nayo ikiburuka. Usianze kukimbia when it's gotten big. Yeah, McKenna, talk to the ladies. Tell them how to break out of this cycle as we end.
Hakuna deadline. There's no deadline. Most of us ladies stay in abusive relationships or in places where you're not loved correctly because you feel that if I'm alone at this age, I'll be alone forever. Hakuna deadline. There's no deadline for you to have a partner. Hautakufa bila mtu, like, we need to get our own. We need to be so secure in ourselves that you know what you deserve. You know who you are. You know how you want to be loved. That's also something really big. Don't just take anything because it's there. Also know how to love. To be loved is one thing. Knowing how to love is another. A lot of us want to be loved without actually giving the same. So know how to love. Know how you want to be loved. And know that there's no deadline. Also, if you've decided that this is the person you want to be with, I think it's sane to take your time. We rush a lot to put a label on things, but you can be friends and get to know this person even when you're dating them. You can be friends. In fact, friendship should be the basis of a relationship. Because if I'm your friend, I won't want to hurt you. I will talk to you. As you said, niko na best friend mwenye naweza ongelesha about everything. Why not my boyfriend? If my boyfriend was my friend, then we'd be able to talk. So be friends. Don't just rush into the golden hour of relationships without, putting in the work. It's the rest of your lives, man. That's the goal. Not just today. It's not just the trips. It's the rest of your lives. At least that's what I believe.
Wow, again. Thank you so much, McKenna and Deno for...
Deno has something to say. Alinua mic.
Deno.
I just say, niliona alisema tukue tu fair. Chenye unataka ufanyiwe pia wewe kuwa ready kufanyia mtu mwingine. Basically, yeah.
Hivyo.
Let's be fair also.
Wow. Self-awareness. Let's understand. Let's understand how to love. That's also something that you've mentioned.
And receive love.
And receive love. Wow, thank you. Santi Sana, it's been an amazing conversation. And as we come to the end of this, you have engaged a lot in this conversation. You have track what has been happening in your relationship. Umeanza kunotice uto tu patterns, uto tu vitu zenye uko unajua because of the conversation that we've had. Go down, be intentional about now critically looking at what your relationship has and the patterns that are there. We've been told that patterns don't lie. So if you realize a pattern and you are willing and true to yourself to commit to whatever relationship you're in, put effort towards it. But we realize as humans and as people who work in this space of gender-based violence, we realize that there are certain patterns and certain partners that do not allow you to break from it. So it is important for you to know, as I had mentioned in the previous episode, and I feel that there is a lot of emphasis that needs to be put in this. Number one, there is no justification. Even at the explosion stage, there is no justification for any form of violence that is out there. No human being can justify that. And number two, you have a choice. The choice is in you, is in your hands. So you can decide to leave, to step out. Unaweza amua, by the way, I am done. You put yourself first as an individual, as you. Put yourself first and decide that you're going to take care of yourself, both your heart and your mind. If you feel that you really want this so much as you do, and you want someone to talk to as a counselor, we have our toll-free number. That is 0800 720 565. 0800 720 565. Call it at any time. You will find an able counselor who will guide you through this particular journey that you're in. If you want a one-on-one session, we have 9 branches spread across 5 counties, and you can get more information on that. You can visit our social media platforms on IG at GVRCKE, on YouTube at GVRCKE, on Facebook at Gender Violence Recovery Center, the Nairobi Women's, and on Twitter at GVRCKE. Let's keep this conversation going. Make sure you tell this to a friend, share it, ambia mabeshti zako, tuchape hii conversation. Till next time. Thank you.
Form ni aje, umejiuliza we, hakuna haja kunyamaza kimya na wajua